Chaudhary joins in, political commentator and columnist. Great to have you on the show, Neerja. Good morning. Lay it out for us. What do you expect from the upcoming state election results? Will it be high drama, or do you think that the exit polls will get it right in terms of indicating what they have so far?
You know, with every election, the voter surprises you in some way or another. And here, of course, as you have said, Rajasthan, the Congress seems ahead because it seems to be an anger vote against what is called the arrogance of Vasundhara Raje Scindia. In Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh, it is simply too close to call. I traveled through Madhya Pradesh, 1500 kilometers is a very close contest. But you see, it's 15 years of anti-incumbency, and both states, even though the chief ministers are not very unpopular, as in Rajasthan, it is voter fatigue. For instance, in Madhya Pradesh, people would say, "Kaam to kiya hai, lekin parivartan chahiye." So that kind of voter fatigue, apart from all the other, you know, the agrarian unrest and farmers' distress, a whole lot of other issues. So again, too close to call. Telangana has been a surprise. I went there 2 months ago and people thought TRS was a cakewalk. And that is why Mr. Chandrasekhar Rao dissolved the assembly very early, truncated the longevity of his government, and today it is a contest. Everybody is talking about a contest, and of course, the opposition getting together, the so-called the Mahakutumi, as it's called, with Congress and the Telugu Desam plus the CPI plus the TGS, they formed a front. That has been a turning point. One other turning point that people talked about and not so visible was the one rally that Sonia Gandhi addressed. And had she campaigned in that state, maybe the Congress would have been home and dry. But you see, people view her as the person who gave them statehood. And there's, they regard her well. And 5 years of anti-incumbency that the TRS is facing. So, I mean, very interesting. And of course, Mizoram, Congress versus the regional party, Mizo National Front. All very interesting and suddenly close contests. I would say the overall trend, if I were to capture two trends, it is no matter what they tally, no matter who forms the government in these states, there are clear signs of the Congress party reviving at the ground level, and yet the Congress party not having the organizational muscle to benefit from it as it could have done. The second clear trend, and of course I must add here, Rahul Gandhi is not being rubbished as he was at one time. Amongst the Hindus, Rahul Gandhi's temple hopping is not being viewed negatively. But the other second clear trend is, even as people are voting for say Congress in a particular area, when you talk to them, many of them say 2019, it's Modi. In a meeting of Jyotiraditya Scindia, euphoric response. And there I found people saying 19, it's Modi. I found this in Karnataka, where, in south of Karnataka, everybody voting, the Vocaligas voting for Janata Dal S, and those youth saying 2019, it's Modi. So, I would say, therefore, it's going to be very difficult to extrapolate from the present 5 elections the outcomes in 2019, too early for that.
Very interesting, your observations, Neerja. But do you think that Congress will be able to give it a tough fight, at least in the semi-finale, the state elections? Would it be a neck-and-neck battle, or would it be hugely tilted towards either side?
It is a neck-and-neck. At many places in Madhya Pradesh, I've found the Congress seemed to be ahead. But then it has to make the jump of almost 9% makeover, which is a huge jump, particularly in a state where the CM is not hated. And the welfare, that's another interesting thing. Wherever people have got the benefits of welfare, what social welfareism, what you and I might call SOPs, freebies. That's where they're looking at them again. So when the fruits of development in terms of policy don't reach ordinary people, then these are the things they latch onto. If I've got a cycle, if I'm getting 4,000 rupees per crop, or 8,000 rupees in a year as a farmer, or as in Telangana, I'm getting, for Muslims, when my daughter gets married, I'm getting 1 lakh rupees and so on. Then those beneficiaries will view the incumbent government with favor. So in a way, social welfareism is countering anti-incumbency. Wherever the CMs have done this well and effectively, it is paying them dividends. And this has been the case in Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh particularly, also in Telangana. So Congress reviving, not having the organizational strength like the BJP does, that's the minus point. And the welfare schemes of the incumbent governments, whether it's the BJP in the 2 states in the Hindi heartland or in Telangana, that's a counter move. And in this is Mr. Modi. He was not a factor in any of these states. It's the state satraps and the CMs that the elections were fought around. He value added with his towards the end with his rallies.
Right. Neerja, I know you would have been asked this question umpteen times. It's not got to do so much with the state election results, but more to do with the general election outcome. And I'm sure that many people would have walked up to you and said, what would the numbers look like? Will it be a thumping majority once again for the Modi government? Or will it be a slim majority? Would it be a mild coalition? What is your response?
I would say I will answer it in 2 ways. One, that if 2014 was 31% for the BJP, 69% for the opposition, and if that 69% a good chunk unites, not nationally as a Gathbandhan, but in say half a dozen states of India which are large, UP, Bihar, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka and Jharkhand, where it's a possibility at the state level, yes, it's trouble for BJP. If it is arithmetic, if you count, then the BJP may come down by even 100 seats. But as I said to you earlier, there is a counter trend that while you're voting for the united opposition in the state elections, are you going to, or a chunk of these people may vote for Modi in a national elections? To what extent will chemistry trump over arithmetic? That is the imponderable, at least that's a question mark in my mind. Therefore, very difficult to say what's going to happen in terms of giving you a figure. As of today, without knowing what Mr. Modi is going to pull out of the hat, the rabbits is going to pull out of the hat in the coming months, without knowing whether the disaffection in the country, which is there in sections, Dalits, minorities, farmers, unemployed youth, whether that is going to grow and the rate at which it is going to grow, those are imponderables. But if I was to say yes today, if I look at the picture, and again project from there, I would say yes, it's possible that Narendra Modi, the BJP will come down in its majority and may need more allies in 2019. But again, one should not at this stage talk about it because it's a situation in flux, it's a developing situation.
It is a work in progress, as they say. But Neerja, purely from a market perspective, lots has changed from their last poll pitch to, how this tenure of Modi has been. You've seen demonetization, you've seen GST, we've seen crude not favor us all of last year. We've seen how the job market is a struggle, growth numbers are a struggle, and all eyes really are on the interim budget coming up in February, and also some decisions of the government, as compulsion as they may have been, and lack of any other choices. But excise duty card, the OMC is bearing a brunt of it all, hasn't gone down well with the equity markets at all. Do you really think that economic agenda, like last time around, will be high on the poll pitch by the Modi government this time?
I would say populism will be much more between now and the elections, the name of the game. I would say Narendra Modi, apart from playing the Hindu card, the BJP, they will also play the caste card, which is, you know, consolidating the SC, STs, OBCs under the wider umbrella of the poor, a constituency that was once with the Congress. So Mr. Modi is playing a very different game. You know, he's acquiring this pro-poor image. And sometimes, in many places, the upper castes have been unhappy with him. The middle classes have been unhappy with him. You know, if I go and talk to people in the financial market in Bombay, they call Mr. Modi a socialist. So they're not very happy with, you know, what they had expected something different. And yet, I think he has his eye on the broad category of the poor, as I say, SC, ST, OBC, which is a very large chunk of India. Therefore, I think in terms of economics, at the moment to do any far-reaching things, something that pleases the market, I would doubt it very much. I think more likely to do things that please the largest number of people in the country and has an appeal for them.
Neerja, always a pleasure speaking with you. You put things out in a very complex scenario quite simply for our viewers. Thanks very much.
Thank you.